Well, I'm going to go for a hike, or try to go for a hike. I haven't hiked in so long. I'm not in the best shape. We'll see what I can do. So I'm headed south on the Rim Trail, and I've hiked this before once, but of course, there's 31 miles of it, so I definitely don't remember all the stretches individually. I know the farther south you get toward Timburon, the more faint the trail gets. In fact, we got off trail once and we're contemplating taking a shortcut out back to the highway, but we decided to backtrack and finally found the trail. Google Earth was a big help on that hike. That's how I planned the access points, because there are only so many trailheads, and that leaves some long stretches in between, more than my friend and I wanted to do in one day. And there's no water, so it makes backpacking hard. So I found access points where we could shuttle cars back and forth and do it in segments. I think 5 or 6 segments we did. Okay, well, I'm out of shape, but let's push on. Rocky, rocky. And this is by no means the worst. It was one segment down, maybe 2/3 of the way to Timburon, that was really rocky. I don't know how it could be so rocky. It looked like several dump trucks had dumped rocks about the size of the biggest ones there, all up the slope. But it was in the middle of nowhere, so I'm sure that couldn't have happened. And this is all uphill and rocky. All right. I'm fueled up. Got calories to burn. Even if I didn't, it'd probably be good. I need to lose some of this gut. Because either the shirt's shrunk or I've expanded. Oh, well. This doesn't make it any easier hiking. You gotta be careful you don't take an offshoot. That's what we did when we got off trail that time. But I see here, you could mistake that for the trail, and it probably runs around and connects to the trail. But this must be the main trail. Yeah, this is steep. I'd like to go backpacking this year. I got a new tent that only weighs 2 pounds. That I'd like to try out. I've used it once, car camping, but I don't know. I'm probably too out of shape for backpacking. At least maybe I can go in for an overnight. Always loved it though. I've been backpacking since I was in high school. Backpacked in California in the Sierra Nevadas, Santa Lucia Range on the coast, and backpacked in Colorado and New Zealand a couple of times. That was amazing. Where else have I backpacked? Well, I hiked in Australia, and let's see. Seems like I'm forgetting one other. Oh, Alaska. I backpacked there 5 times. That's also utterly amazing. But I was a little younger then. I'm sure it was easier. This hill just keeps going. You don't call it the ridge or the rim trail for nothing. It mostly follows this ridge of the mountains. I know there's got to be a top up here somewhere. Of course, I've said that hundreds of times, and when I get there, there's just another hill in front of me. Let's hope that's not the case this time. A bird. Biggest wildlife I've seen. Well, you can see it looks like we're going to come out somewhere on top high. Okay, well, I made it to the viewpoint, and it's just as nice as I remember. Incredible views up here. We're looking down toward the south end of White Sands Missile Range. And White Sands National Park takes up a little bit of it. But this range is enormous. If I don't remember incorrectly, it's something like 3,200 square miles. I know that sounds crazy, and I may be wrong, but it's not by orders of magnitude wrong. It's huge. It runs up 200 miles from north of Las Cruces up to Highway 380, where the Trinity site is, where the first atomic bomb was tested. That's way out there. Everybody always says Alamogordo, but that's not true. It's about 90 miles from Alamogordo. But at the time, I guess Alamogordo was the biggest town around. You wouldn't even call it a city. So, yeah, right about, I would say maybe out in there is the national park. Yeah, I've hiked out in there, spent the night in a full moon 3 times. That's amazing with a full moon on that white sand. You can't have any fires, and you can only camp in designated spots in the dunes, but it was great. I hear, though, now since it's a national park, at least temporarily, they're not allowing that. So I'm glad I got to do it. But in the national park, there are other hikes. There's one toward the north end called Alkali Flats Trail. It's a 5-mile loop up and down the dunes and out on Alkali Flat and then back and around. It's quite scenic, not worth doing, but dangerous if you're not prepared. There's a big sign that warns you to don't do this hike if it's over. I think it said 85 degrees. It was about 90 or so when I did it, but I had a lot of water and I rested under bushes and so on. But a lot of people have died out there. Just a few years ago, there was a French couple who were hiking out there with their son and ran out of water. They both died. He survived. And a few years before that, there was a Japanese guy that disappeared. They didn't find him for 3 years. So you got to be prepared. It seems like mostly European people, or people at least not from the US, they don't take into account the heat and the distances. It can be deadly if you don't watch yourself. Fallen trees. I'm steadily going downhill, which is nice, easy hiking, but makes me worry about climbing back up. My GPS says I've only gone a quarter mile, but I don't think that's true. It's hard to believe. It didn't register anything at that viewpoint. I always like to poke around at these dead tree stumps and all the rocks in them. Keep hoping someday I'll find a gold nugget in there. Oh well. Not today. As you can see, this goes downhill pretty steeply. If I don't fall on my face trying to film it as I go. Japan's watching your feet with all these rocks. I wish all the trail was like this. Or better yet, just pine duff under the trees in the shade, smooth and flat. But like life, trails have their ups and downs. If you're gonna do it, you gotta accept both, I suppose. Loosening up okay. I've been stiff sitting around camp and sleeping in the back of the truck, but I feel all right today. Maybe this is what I needed. Well, I don't know how much further I'll go today. We'll see. I don't really have anything else I've got to do. So I'll press on for a while at least. Well, we've got an opening down here. Kind of a big meadow. Looks like someone has brought ATVs in, or they're camped down there or something. Oh, they got a hammock. That's cool. I'm going to set mine up I think when I get back to camp. I think I remember this spot too. Maybe that rim trail hike is coming back to me. There are some nice little meadows in these mountains. I come back to that slime pool, and I just happened to see this great butterfly, which is not going to pose for me. Okay. Wait. There it is. Now, if I could zoom in, if I knew how to do that. Got 2x zoom on now. Let's see if I can just get closer. Low-tech zoom. That's a strange coloration. I don't know what kind of butterfly that would be. I've seen thousands of monarchs in certain places. I don't think I've ever seen one like this. I have to try to identify it. Certainly colorful. Well, thanks for coming back and posing for me, little guy. I'll leave you alone now. easily take a nap out here, but that hammock and a cold beer is beckoning. Well, you've probably seen enough of me eating an apple. Gotta admit though, the scenery is great. One more shot. So today we're going to have Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, one of my favorites for many, many years. A great introduction to craft beer if you haven't made that move yet. And an opener courtesy of Marble Tap Takeover. Oh, wow. Isn't that awesome after a hot, hard hike?